Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of TFT Hyper Roll with Artart. Before I get into the origin story of today's video, let's throw up the graphic, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things to help the YouTube algorithm because it'll make you feel really good about doing it. Maybe not, but it'll help the channel, so that's cool, right? Okay, let's go. So this video was created mainly because my kid became obsessed with a particular build in Hyperroll and wanted to see it happen. It wasn't one that I found particularly effective, but I kind of promised him I would try to make it work. Then, after I had recorded the video, but before I started editing, I got this comment from Alicia Shepard asking, is Underground worth doing in Hyperroll? If so, can that be one of your upcoming videos? Well, yeah, here it is, but I'm going to have a lot to say about the build as I go along, so sit back, enjoy the ride. It's a little crazy. So the possibility for this video became a reality when I got Unrelenting Force, gain of Vi. When she takes or deals damage, gets 3% attack power, 3 ability power, and stacking armor and magic resist up to 25 times. It's like a Titan's Resolve on some Liver King steroids. Now, one of the issues I have had with Underground is that there is no innate synergy between the champions besides Underground. And your starting 3 champions are pretty dang squishy on their own. Vi does not hold up that well as your sole frontliner. Except, maybe with this augment, she might. Now, I don't mind losing some early with Underground because then you're going to get more cracks at the safe, so to speak. But what I hated is that I always seem to just lose straight all the way into stage 6. And that made the end of the game really chancy, and it just didn't ever seem to work out. So with this particular augment, my goal is to make Vi tanky, which means Giant's Belt, meet the other Giant's Belt on the bench, and go on to Vi to create a Warmogs. Notice I've also picked up a Draven. That is because my goal is going to be to make Underground and Aces, since that feels to me like it would end up making the most sense. And you will see the result of eating all of that raw meat is making Vi grow big and strong. She's getting bigger and bigger as she goes, picking up armor and magic resist and just tanking the front line. She's just 1 star, but I actually feel some hope because I can see at 2 stars she's gonna be pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and pass on this first one and continue the heist. And while you will get through the items faster on the Underground if you lose, what I have found is when I go on that kind of lose streak in Hyperroll, I am just begging at the very beginning of 7, give me a Samira or I'm dead. And if you don't get it, you don't have a chance. Even if you get it, you're likely just with a 1 star and struggling. So my main priority is actually tank items, but since there's nothing here that fits, I'll go ahead and grab the BF sword. That will ultimately go on to Draven. I'm also going to pick up Vayne because you kind of need champions who are going to bridge for Underground, and Vayne will make a good champion since she will create the duelist synergy with Kayle and the recon synergy with Ezreal. But luckily, with our supercharged Vi up front and a 2-star Draven with Infinity Edge in the back, we're not necessarily going to need the synergies yet. This team is holding up much better than most Underground teams I'd expect, and even the one we are going against, you can see, is not doing too well at this point in the match. It's time for our second augment, and the second wind is a pretty simple choice for me because I'm needing the front line to hold up. I've 2-starred the Vi and then picked up the elements for a Guardian Stoneplate, so that is going to be key for her because she will attract all the attention early on, and this will ultimately increase her magic resist and armor, along with the stacking that she's getting as part of her buff. And you can see all units converge on the ever-growing Vi, and she is not taking that much damage considering how many people are hitting her. And this will be enough to push us to our next item choice. And while the choices are getting a little bit better, we're going to continue the heist. For our next item choice, the spatula wasn't actually much of a temptation because of how late we are in the match. We're not going to get many more single item opportunities, and I just want to continue to create tank items on Vi. Thank you, Gary, for the additional Warmogs, and then the Giant Slayer on Draven, who's actually just holding items for Samira. And Vi has now reached ridiculous levels of tankiness. As you can see, she can just punch her way right through teams that would normally reduce her to ashes. This hero augment is really, really strong, and if you get it, you probably want to take a shot at a build like this. And just to re-emphasize the point I just made, I want you to keep an eye on Vi and see how she stands in against the Mecha Prime Jax with the Giant Slayer, Rage Blade, and Bloodthirster. You think she's going out? Nope, she's gonna hang in there. Next item choices are getting much better, but with us at 18, there's really no reason to jump on it. We can continue this heist. We're also going to go ahead and put in the Riven so that we trigger Brawler, and once we get Samira, say goodbye to Draven. This will bring us to the 5 Undergrounds, which will allow us to crack safes even faster, but I do want to get Draven back because I would like to do aces in this match. It is time for our final augment, and we are in actually a really good position now that we have the 5 Undergrounds. We've also picked up a Draven and a Sejuani, but one thing that will help is a little bit of healing so that Samira won't go down as quickly if she ends up getting ganged up on. This is our final individual item, and I'm going to go ahead, grab the Bloodthirster, and put that on Samira, just for that little extra healing on top of the healing we just got. I really want her to stay alive for a long time. My goal is also to pick up all the aces I can find. We've gone ahead and switched over to Sejuani as our brawler because as far as brawlers go, they don't get much better than that because of that stun. As you can see, that allows Samira to get in a lot of extra damage. As the ace, she is going to be executing people, and Vi stays alive throughout the entire thing. I'm pretty excited right now because unlike every other underground game I've played, win or lose, I'm still in good shape, and I'm going to get a pretty good reward at the end of this. At the 5 Undergrounds, you get 6 if you win, 10 if you lose, but you normally can't afford to lose when you're at 5. This time I actually could, but it didn't matter. It just took me to the next level, and here's my reward. I cannot resist that Tactician's Crown and lots of loot. So we cut and run and then just gather. I'm glad it happened on an NPC round so I can figure this all out. So I'll kind of play you through all the madness here. I pick up the Hextech Gunblade for Misfortune because that's going to be a decent item for her. Open up the Anvil and grab the Redemption. That's going to go on Sejuani. The whole key is, what am I going to put in? I don't have all my aces yet, but this team is pretty strong even without them. I decide to go ahead and just use the duplicator on Samira so she can get up to 2 stars. It threw 2 extra Vis in on me, but I'm going to go ahead and put 3 of the 4 aces in for the next fight, hoping that I can get my Mordekaiser sometime before the end. Now, we might have currently lost the power of the aces, which would execute them at 12%. On the new patch, it's now 15%, but they are still really strong champions. 4 costs and a 2 cost, and we're able to knock down the person who was in first place. With the 5 Undergrounds, we're going to be able to continually get items throughout the rest of the match, so we'll be able to possibly put together more pieces and parts as we go, which is why I'm holding some items on the bench that could potentially pair up with stuff we get out of the Underground. But the team is doing fantastically thanks to the Tactician's Crown and the 2-star champions. And all of this has led us into the top 4, gotten us our Mordekaiser, and we can continue this heist because we are not in danger of getting knocked out right now. But Mordekaiser gets to go in, and we are now at the 4 aces, which will execute under 30% health.
And normally I would say final 2 items, but these are not necessarily final because of the underground. We can pick up the Manazane for Misfortune, and then we're looking for more items to potentially enhance Misfortune because she is our second really powerful ace. Mordekaiser's just a 1-star right now. I'm not too concerned about him. I just go ahead and put the Thieves' Gloves on Mordekaiser and figure my backline is probably enough to take down just about any team. After all, we just have to get them to 30% health and then they'll get executed, and we have 4 different champions who can do it. Misfortune, who has a team clearing ult, and while she does execute some people, this team's really tanky with recons in the back and they're doing a lot of damage. So we are not able to get through them, and suddenly in just a tiny bit of danger. It's time to see what the heist offers, and this is nothing I'm really thrilled with, so I'm going to continue the heist because I have 2 lives left. If I lose 1 more, I'm not out, so I will get a shot. At this point, I had wanted to go for the 3-star Samira, but I felt it's better to use the Champion Duplicator just to get Mordekaiser up to 2. And luckily, bringing Mordekaiser up to 2 stars changed his items and gave him fairly perfect items through his Thieves' Gloves, and slam, he takes out a ton of their team. And the problem here is when you have 1 Mecha Prime left against this many champions, especially with Ace, he's likely to go down quickly. The other player lost their fight against a Ghost champion, and we come out victorious, and it's GG for everyone. Undergrounds can work, it's gotta start really strong. I would not suggest a lose streak in Hyper Roll. Hope this video helped, you'd enjoyed it, and as always, have an absolutely awesome day.